I'd like to introduce you to the 12, or the book of the 12, which is your next reading assignment in the Bible in 40 words. So we have read through many of the prophets, and we're going to take the rest of the time in the Old Testament reading the rest of the prophets, the 12. So congratulations, you've made it this far following along. You read the big ones, Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel. Long, heavy, deep books of the Bible, those prophets. And then you've read kind of a different prophet, Daniel. In the Jewish Bible, he's not classified with the prophets. He's classified with the writings, along with Psalms and Job. And so now this new section that we're going to enter, there's 12 books, 12 prophets from Hosea to Malachi. I can't ever get them in order. Most of them are very, very short. Some of them will only take up a page in your Bible, just a few chapters, but they are really dense. And so they've been called the 12 and collected as one since the days of Augustine. And you'll notice that there's a whole lot of similarity in the 12. So it'll take you a while to read through them, and we've got a couple of breaks in there. And you'll notice repetition and themes, a lot of the same stuff we've been reading. And so our words coming up over the next two sessions of the Bible in 40 words are the word faithful and the word consequences. What we see over and over in these prophets is that God is faithful, even though the people are not. The other thing we see in these readings is that the people face consequences. They turned away from God, they followed after idols, and their kingdom was destroyed. So there's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of warnings. God is trying to keep the people from this suffering. And so the prophets are saying over and over to the people, change your ways, don't chase after idols. Follow the one true God. Some of these books might be familiar. The story from Jonah in the whale, or the words of Amos, let righteousness flow down like waters. Some of these parts you will recognize. But most of them, if you haven't read through the Bible, you won't recognize because we don't read these in worship. Not very much. We read pieces of them a little bit, but they're not as familiar. And I'm realizing that as I'm preparing to preach on these books because they are harsh. The book of Hosea, God tells Hosea to take a wife of whoredom. And the people are compared to a prostitute, to a whore. Not exactly preaching material for family audience. In fact, as I mentioned before in the book of Ezekiel, the rabbis and priests that have gone before us have often warned people not to wander into these books. They're hard to read. But we want to read the whole Bible. We want to be faithful. So I want to encourage you to keep at it. As I said, some of them are real short. Just take them and chew on them. But remember those two words as we go through the word faithfulness, because God is faithful to stubborn people. And the word consequences, because the message of these books collectively is that people, you got yourselves into it. And so it's important for us to remember that the prophets have stood the test of time. They turned out to be right. And sometimes we need to hear hard words. And so listen to the 12 little soldiers over the rest of the summer. Labor Day, we turn to the New Testament. We're almost there. And so God bless you in your reading as you march along with the 12.